Although I've been really thinking about it because I got hockey fever.
What was his key?
Canada rules.
Canadian talk.
Hello and welcome to episode 50 of Canadian Talk with Stephan podcast. This episode, as episode 50 represents, basically what would be a year of podcasts, because there's 52 weeks in a year. But it's kind of turned into it where I've only done it once every 2 weeks. So it's more like a bi-weekly podcast than it is a weekly podcast so far. But I'm hoping to do it more often. Yeah. So here we are for episode 50. This is Corona Cast because I got Corona again. And I'm not sure if this is for the first time or what. But I got Corona. I currently have it. But I'm on day 3. So, but yeah, don't worry. You can't fucking get it through the mic or something. Don't be afraid. Yeah, but I have Corona right now. It hasn't been great. It's been pretty bad. Like a little worse than I thought it would be. I thought it was going to be like a little less, but it's kind of like a flu mixed with a cold, mixed with a bad headache. And, yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy what's happened in the world because of it. Let's get this fire lit. Thanks, everybody, for joining the podcast for episode 50. Here we are. Okay, I'm going to light this bugger. Let's cheat with a little paper, folks. I don't feel like... Oh. No, it lit on its own anyway. Didn't need the paper. All right, and we're here for another episode of Canadian Talk, baby. So let's start with some dad jokes, as we do. My father and I were in the car traveling to a family outing. On the way, after passing a graveyard, my dad asked, "Did you know that's a popular cemetery?" "No, why?" I responded. "People are just dying to get in there," he replied. After I groaned, he continued, in all seriousness, "But really, did you know I could be buried there?" Why not, Dad?" I asked, surprised. "Because I'm not dead yet." Did you know why I can't be buried there? Oh my god, that was horrible. Just a big X on that one. I stumbled a little bit on the reading, but the second part of that would just shouldn't even have been written in there. After I groaned, he continued in all seriousness, "But really, did you know I can't be buried there?" Because I'm not dead yet. That's fucking stupid. That's not even funny. The bank robber took a bath after a heist. He wanted to make a clean getaway. That one's not so great. Why did the boy bring a ladder to chorus? He wanted to sing higher. Trash. Did you hear about the houses that fell in love? It was a long distance relationship. Lawn like the grass. Why did the belt go to jail? Because it held up a pair of pants. I've heard that one. I heard that one when I was a kid. I don't like that one. Our wedding was so beautiful. Even the cake was in tears. That one I don't like either. Never buy anything with Velcro. It's a total ripoff. I like that one. Okay. Alright, that's enough dad jokes for today. So, here we are again. You know what? I think that I heard that Andrew Tate does his his podcast with his shirt off, I was thinking that maybe I'd shed the tarp for an episode, see if it makes me go viral. I saw that and I was like, why does he wear no shirt on his podcast? It's kind of weird. I get it though. Maybe it gets a female audience a little bit, like it catches the eyes. I don't know. Oh, that fire is really popping today. The mic is definitely gonna pick that up. But yeah, welcome to the show. All my favorite people, my listeners. We are here today to talk about what? I sure as hell don't know. I don't have anything on the top of my mind really at all today. This is going to be totally off the cuff. Not that it isn't always. I got a list of a few things, but yeah, I was already talking about how I have COVID, but I feel fine now, and it's only been 3 days. So, yeah. And the worst symptom that I had was the headache, I think. But I really had every symptom, but the most severe one with whatever type of COVID this was, probably the newest variant, whatever the hell it's called. That was what you should expect if you haven't had COVID recently, because we all should be getting it right around now, because this winter, because it's supposed to be super spreadable now, so by the winter, it'll be all spread, right? Because we're supposed to be out of the woods on this shit, because we don't want masks again this winter. Oh man, so what do we got here? I wrote a joke here. Everyone says having multiple beers open around the house is a bad thing, but nobody ever talks about the benefits of the protein from drinking the fruit flies. And then I got a note here about Darcy Kemper. As a guy I played hockey with for a few years on the Saskatoon Blazers here growing up. He just won the Stanley Cup last year with Colorado Avalanche. And yeah, he's been bringing the cup around the city of Saskatoon and like around areas and stuff, which is pretty cool. Oh, but this is why I have this written here. I noticed this, and I didn't check too many statistics, but I know that this is rare and this hasn't happened in a while. I think he is one of the first goalies in the past few decades to assist a Stanley Cup winning goal, which he did. If you rewatch the Stanley Cup Kadri's winning goal, it was assisted by none other than Darcy Kemper. Yeah, it was. I watched it. And then I got Live Golf on here. I did want to talk about that a little bit, because my opinion is that it's a good thing. Like we shouldn't be playing this racism stuff. I believe in nationalism when it has positive only. Just like how I like religion, but only the positive stuff. Oh, fire's attacking me. Now that made me forget my fucking train of thought. Oh yeah, Live Golf. Because let's be real here. Like, we can't just be like, oh, Saudi Arabia is bad. Those are people, you know? They're just different. And they have money, they have oil money, they want to support golf, which is a great sport, and promotes good ethic, which their people need. Well, no, I don't mean it like that. Like, I'm not saying that they're people, but their people are very clean. I'm not saying any generalities about cleanliness, anything that would be taken negative. I'm just talking about, you know, the Middle East isn't, it's a desert, so it's hot. So fancy people are rarer. People are sweaty. People are stinky. That's not their fault. That's just the environment. And so the promotion of golf. I think that Saudi Arabia is sending a message that they want to clean up the aesthetic of their culture a little bit. That's what they're doing with investing billions of dollars into their own proper golf tournament with the best players in the actual world, which happen to be in North America because golf is a European sport, right? I like it. I like to see that Saudi Arabia is kind of not assimilating, but just kind of cooperating and coming together with European values. That's something we should be happy with, right? Because anything that moves us away from their ancient interpretations of their Bible is good because of the way that the modern woman likes to live, and their religion is quite anti that. We're drinking. Brewhouse has a new Pilsner out. We're drinking that today. It's all right. It's not great. It's cheap, but that's what we're drinking today. Let's throw a little music into our lives. Maybe we'll actually find a good riff today. Last episode we did 2 riffs, and the first one was all right. Second one was just trash. I haven't played harmonica since last episode, so. That was alright. Just scaling and stuff. Any professional, proper harmonica player who can actually play the thing would probably just absolutely rip me a new one. I don't know, though. I could make a math analogy about that real quick. Because how important is structure? Because music is the opposite of math in terms of its need for structure. Yet even in math, the best mathematicians, they often will appreciate creativity when it works with their thing. Like, so like I could reference a movie that I heard that from, but like just in math in general, they actually look for people who stray outside of the structure. Because the structure is there, we all know it, we can all find it in a book. That's the thing. It's just like when I play an instrument too. It's actually one of the things that kept me away from instruments most in my life. There's a burp for you. Is because I didn't ever want to. I understood that before you could be good, kinda, you had to learn other people's songs, and I didn't like that. That's super bad of me. I think that's anti-artistic of me. It's selfish, but that's just the way it is. For me. Something that I'm learning, but I'm not saying that this show is ever going to end. It's going to always be, but I'm really considering starting a new show with somebody else where every episode has somebody else. Because like a co-partner on every episode, because the individual pods are really hard to I like doing it. I love doing it. I think I get more pure thoughts out that way, but in terms of from the listener, if you're going to sit down and with your supper and fucking watch this, I feel like it just feels better when there's 2 on the camera, I don't know. I feel like I should have already learned this lesson though from a podcaster that I watch. His name is Brian Callen. He's a good speaker, hilarious guy, but he had a solo podcast that he did and really never got any traction, mostly because it was just him. And that is kind of a dull energy when it's just one person. And I understand that. I don't know though, because Theo Vaughn can do it. So I feel like I should be able to do it, Let's go back to the list. Oh, I was talking about diversity in live golf. I don't actually know how I got off of that. I don't even remember. it's good. We want to come together as nations, and I think sports are great things to do that. And also, if our athletes, these golfers that are severely, majority of the field of golfers is underpaid. It's a hard sport to get into for that reason. Um, so anything that gets them paid more, I think, is a good thing. If you disagree with anything I say, for sure, you just throw it in the comments, guys. That's the other thing is I would love to encourage more comments. I don't get that many. I like that I don't get any negative input. Like, that's nice. I appreciate that, but I want negative and positive. Send it to me. This is another joke that I wrote. Do you think that rocks talk to each other when we're not looking? I don't know why, I just found that funny. Rocks. Like, the thing is, though, is you've heard about it. They say that plants can talk to each other. They've proven that like fungi, like mushrooms and other types of those types of things underground and stuff, that they do communicate. Like, they have proven that, I believe. So that means that most plants can somehow do various forms of communication. I wonder if that, you really have to wonder if that extends right to minerals, you know? Rocks and minerals. It's an interesting thought. And it's just a funny joke when you just put it that way. Like, I wonder if rocks talk to each other. So, I don't know, maybe it's not that funny. That one might be a miss. Oh, this was a premise that I thought of the other day. You know, it's interesting that what you don't see, and I wonder if you would get removed, right? It's a double standard I thought of, and this is one where I should rip the tarp off like Andrew Tate when I talk about it. Because it's kind of about men and women. But, like, you never see, so you see all of these women making millions of dollars off of, showing their body and stuff on all forms of media, even TikTok and like social medias. What would happen if you had a guy who wore loose shorts, and I thought of this premise, I even thought of a name for it. You call it, for a guy, women twerk. For a guy, you could call it like a crotch twerk, where it's like the reverse of what women do with their butt. Where, like, if you were wearing loose shorts and you just kind of did the thrust and you were like throwing your wiener around in your pants, wouldn't that, like, you never see that. You never see that. Like, did I come up with an original idea there? Or like, could I make millions off of that? Or would I literally just get banned till all hell? And if I did get banned for community violations for that, that's so unfair. Right? So you tell me I can't show my wiener through the pants, but women can shake their butts and basically, the nipple boob thing or whatever. That would be that, because that is primarily what men look at on those dance videos and whatever else is going on those platforms with that, right? So it's just weird that you don't see more men doing that. Like the twerking part. Maybe I don't actually look, I've never looked, but like maybe you see men like, oh, you wear tight, maybe wear like tight shorts and then use that in some way, right? Like the bulge thing. But this is so gay. But like, I'm just talking about it from a money-making perspective. And like, just from social standards and stuff, just the fact that, like, because maybe a man has tried it or something and then just got banned. And that's so sexist. That's not fair that men can't make money from their bodies like women can. Oh, that's a funny premise. Oh, I'm glad I brought that one up off the list. That's a funny fucking premise. I think I hadn't been bringing that one up because I was afraid. Okay, yeah, and the World Juniors are on right now. I've been watching those. There's another game on tonight. Going to be pretty sweet. Canada's been doing well. They won their first game, 5-2, and they won their second game like 10-1. Slovakia and their first game was against, I want to say the Swiss. The Swiss? Austrians? One of those two. I can't remember. I think it was Austria. But yeah, here we are. Doing it. Doing the podcast. Doing it live. Not live, but I don't really edit anything out. Yeah. So, what else is going on in the world? What do we want to talk about today? I was theorizing with an academic buddy of mine a little bit the other day about the Trump raid thing. How they've went and gotten stuff from his personal place that he lives in Mar-a-Lago, Florida. You know. And we were talking about it, and I wasn't on Trump's side or anything, but I was on the side of having past presidents always been allowed to be kept informed. And like President Obama still does speeches and shit, and they ask him about stuff that's important for the public to hear. And when he says it on camera and it goes on major media things, that's him still acting, presiding in a way. And so Trump having some files about stuff that maybe he was doing that was classified. People just don't like that he is allowed to see that stuff, I guess. That is part of the problem with power, right? Is everybody's got to like him. And that's why democracy is a thing, but I can't believe that they were able to. So this is to continue on what we were talking about. I can't believe that they were allowed to get away with that, to be honest. Like, to just raid somebody's house that was a president and then release certain things that try to make him look bad and stuff. It's kind of surprising. I think it's because he was gaining popularity sort of recently. If you really keep your finger on the pulse of some of that stuff, he's been kind of gaining a little bit of popularity, let's say in the past 6 months, from the downplays of the election stuff. Now he's rising up again, and I think that that's what they're trying to combat in terms of the little media battle, because it's the left pulling this stuff. Because, yeah, you probably shouldn't be allowed to do that. Whoa, one of these logs is just ripping. It's like there's some oil or sap that seeped out of the wood and just started flaming. I love that. I'll bet you that I've done that before, like point that out before. I remember I'm having deja vu from doing that in the earlier episodes. My phone just told me something. It may have been, not my phone, rather the camera that I use that's attached to my phone for metrics. It just told me that my battery is running a little low, so this may just be a 30-minute podcast today. We'll see. May not make it the full hour. But I do appreciate anybody who's clicked on to my episode 50, just to see what I have to say. And good Lord, if you managed to watch the whole episode, man, do I appreciate you. This is something that I do. I hope it's. I do this because I try to. Let's talk about myself a little more, by the way, because that's all that this is. That's all that a comedy podcast is talking about people and yourself. I do this because I want. I want to create a platform for intellectuals. I've said that before. I believe myself to be of good curiosity, so I think I can ask good questions. Do I long for attention and recognition? No, I don't think that that's one of my primary motivations. I want respect, though. So how much different is respect from recognition? Playing these semantic games of narcissism versus altruism. it's all just on how you semantically construct your words, really. That is the core of the left versus right battle. Is that how do you solve your problems through self-preservation and exploration, or through group identity and togetherness and all that kind of stuff? And I know it's a little bit of both. Pretty crazy. The other day, just thought of this. The other day I had an old tenant of mine, real bad person, that I had to remove after a short period of time. They just kind of after like a year, they just kind of showed up at the doorstep, and were just waiting there, at one of the properties. So awkward. Had to, this is like, honestly, yeah, one of the shittier things that's ever happened in the gig that I do for some of my money. Pretty fucking awkward and confrontational and frustrating. People who, it has to do with hard drugs. That's my final conclusion on it. If I could put forward some of my thoughts after an evening with, not an evening, a few hours of having this person instill themselves, basically trespass themselves back into my site. That my main takeaway was that you can't ever do hard drugs. They fuck up your brain, and the effects are long term, and that's just the way it goes, man. That's the way it goes. Like marijuana detaches some of those nodes a little bit and expands your brain, but you don't want to take that too far, or your brain is too stretched out, and you can't make cohesive collections of sentences anymore, would be how I would put it. A person can still be smart. They can know words and know concepts and what they mean, but when they put them all together, they create a confusing labyrinth of stuff that doesn't have consistent logic. And that is unfortunate. That's why bad drugs are bad drugs, and it should stay that way. Like, obviously, I'm not one of those people that promote legalizing hard drugs. It's just, even just doing them a couple of times is so bad, man. Fuck. Yeah, that was my main takeaway after meeting that person. Again. Fucking crazy. If you want more on that. Whoa, that was loud. Holy, I jumped on camera on that one. Maybe I'll get a slow-mo of that. God, the fire just popped at me. That was louder than usual. Or maybe I was just in a zone. Oh my God. If you want to get more information, by the way, you can go back to like episode 39 or 40 or something, and it's called Interview with a Meth Head. You can check out more on that. But the audio is really bad on that one. One of the microphones wasn't working. But still, I leave it in my library as a preservation piece, because this person may not last very much longer. I got another thought that I had. I was talking to somebody the other day about anxiety. And sorry, I was trying to decide how I wanted to start this. So we were talking about anxiety, and we were talking about whether it was a good thing or a bad thing. And dang it, I had a premise that I wanted to talk about specifically with that conversation I was referencing, and then I forgot it. Yeah, mental health is a real thing, but it's something you gotta work at. It's like, because and then if you reference it to sports too, it's funny because I was or not even just sports, just objective. Jesus Christ, what's up with this fire today? God, I gotta shuffle this fire. It's fucking exploding on me. It must be getting too hot. Where's my fucking poker sticks? Jesus Christ. I should probably done that sooner. Fire's just fucking attacking me. Holy. That time it burned my ankle. And almost burned my shorts. Okay, well, I think that's the fire telling me that you're boring and that 30 minutes is probably plenty for this one. Thanks for tuning in. This was a pretty anticlimactic episode 50. You should probably try to do better on your episode. Oh, but this is the thing though, is I did an episode. I have coronavirus currently. I probably sound a little stuffy. So I pushed through. So I did the best I could do. That's all I got for today, guys. That's Canadian Talk out. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We love you. Thanks to, I love you. Thanks to Brewhouse. Thanks to, thanks to my mom for giving me life. And that's it. That's all, guys.
Thanks for listening, and any questions or concerns for the show, as well as voice recordings and voice messages that you'd like us to listen to, or advertisement inquiries, please forward those along to CanadianTalkWithStephan@gmail.com. Thanks. We also have a website, Stephanjackson.ca, where you can find a back catalog of all our episodes, and we're also on YouTube, where you can find the video versions.